Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into a forgotten drawer, and discovering that a single penny, yes, a tiny copper coin you've walked past your entire life, could be worth nearly $1 million. Now, what if I told you that one specific coin, a 2009 D. Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint, has shaken the collector world with current market valuations reaching up to an astonishing $961,000. This isn't a fairy tale, and it's certainly not wishful thinking. This is a real opportunity that could turn an ordinary moment into a life-changing one. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, why collectors are scrambling to find it, and how one tiny detail could put you on the path toward a wealthier lifestyle than you ever imagined. We begin in Act 1. Where the story of this extraordinary coin takes shape. In 2009, the United States Mint honored the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth by releasing a series of commemorative penny designs, each capturing a chapter of Lincoln's life. Millions of Americans remember seeing these coins in their pockets that year. But within that massive nationwide release, an extremely small number of 2009 pennies minted in Denver left the facility with a minting anomaly so rare that seasoned experts describe it as a once-in-a-generation discovery. And here is where you may want to check your coin jars, because one of these elusive errors has now been authenticated at a value of $961,000. Yes, one penny, nearly $1 million. If that doesn't make you sit up straight, maybe check your pulse. As Act 2 unfolds, the tension rises. Collectors across the country began noticing subtle, almost invisible defects on a handful of these Denver minted coins. For most people, the imperfections meant nothing. But for those who understood the world of numismatics, these microscopic variations signaled something enormous. A minting error so rare, so breathtakingly valuable, that it transformed a seemingly ordinary 2009 penny into a high-demand treasure. Imagine the thrill, holding what looks like a regular penny, only to realize that experts are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. It's the kind of discovery that sparks a rush of excitement, a pulse of urgency, and yes, a flicker of fear. The fear that you might already have one of these pennies in your home and not even know it. Now, at this moment in the story, you might be wondering what exactly makes this coin so extraordinary. And here's where the plot thickens. While we'll dive deeper into the error itself in a moment, the critical part to understand is this. The market demand for rare pennies is skyrocketing. Wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums are aggressively hunting for these 2009 D anomalies. Prices have surged, auctions have become intense, and experts predict that this upward trend is not slowing down. People who never imagined themselves becoming part of the numismatic world are suddenly finding themselves in bidding wars, phone calls with auction houses, and conversations with professional appraisers. And it all begins with one simple step: checking the pennies around you. Before we go deeper, let's interrupt with a quick reality check, because maybe you're thinking, okay, but what are the odds? Well, here's a pattern interrupt. Think about your junk drawer. Yes, the drawer where you keep expired batteries, mysterious screws, 3 measuring tapes for no reason, and of course, a mountain of loose change. That drawer might be holding the most valuable penny of your lifetime. And if you're laughing right now, just imagine the look on your face if you find out I'm right. Now let's transition smoothly into Act 3, where everything comes together. Picture yourself holding a 2009 D penny, with its polished copper glow, the image of Lincoln, and the special commemorative reverse design. But instead of tossing it aside, you examine it carefully. You notice a flaw, something slightly off in its strike, a distortion invisible to the untrained eye. You get it tested, and suddenly you're standing face to face with the possibility that this tiny coin could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You feel your heartbeat quicken. You imagine the lifestyle shift, the financial freedom, the new opportunities that open before you. This is where fear shifts into excitement, and excitement transforms into action. But here's the cliffhanger. There is more to this story than just one lucky coin. The surge in demand, the steep rise in sales, the growing competition among collectors means time is not on your side. Coins like these are being found, certified, and sold faster than ever before. And every day, more people are discovering the true power of rare pennies tucked quietly away in their homes. The question is, will you be one of them, or will someone else beat you to it? As we move toward the conclusion, let this sink in. The 2009 D Mint error penny valued at $961,000 isn't just a fluke. It's a symbol of untapped wealth, hidden potential, and the extraordinary opportunities that exist right in front of us, if we're willing to pay attention. So if you've been holding on to old coins, or if you've inherited jars of pennies, or if you've simply ignored the loose change scattered around your home, now is the time to take action. Not next month, not next year, right now. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from a single penny. And that one penny could be your gateway to a future filled with abundance, security, and the lifestyle you've always dreamed of living. So check your coins. Search your drawers. Look closely. You never know. Your journey to extraordinary wealth might begin with the simplest, smallest coin you've ever held. Imagine waking up one morning, walking over to the junk drawer you haven't opened in years, and finding a simple brown penny. A penny so ordinary looking that you almost toss it aside. But what if I told you that one single coin, specifically the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny, has sold for an unbelievable $675,000? That's right, a coin worth 1 cent suddenly trading like a luxury home. Now, before you rush to your dresser drawers, stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly why this coin is exploding in demand, how to identify the rare error that makes it so valuable, and what it could mean for your financial future. And yes, there's a twist you absolutely don't want to miss. Act 1 begins with possibility. Millions of people walk past life-changing opportunities simply because they don't know what they're looking at. The 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny is one of the final coins in the historic wheat penny series, a collectible already beloved by American numismatists. But what makes this particular coin the stuff of legend is not just its age. It's the ultra-rare die variety error that only a microscopic fraction of coins ever received. And that is exactly why collectors across the country are aggressively hunting them down, paying top dollar and driving values sky high. You see, when rarity meets demand, the market reacts fast. And this coin has become the gold standard of hidden treasure in plain sight. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Seriously? A penny worth hundreds of thousands? What's next? My old socks worth a fortune. And while I can't promise you anything about the socks, I can promise this: coins like these are transforming the wealth of everyday Americans. Because the beauty isn't just in the metal, it's in the opportunity. And opportunities love people who are paying attention. Act 2 is where the story deepens. Let me take you into the most thrilling part of this coin's history. Picture 1958. The U.S. Mint is preparing to shift designs, moving toward the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Wheat pennies were in their final chapter. Amid that transition, a subtle but powerful minting anomaly occurred. A specific die, intended for limited usage, produced only a microscopic number of wheat pennies with distinctive doubling errors. Errors so crisp and undeniable that collectors would someday fight tooth and nail to get their hands on one. These aren't sloppy mistakes. These are dramatic, unmistakable patterns that even the untrained eye can see. And here's where the excitement truly spikes. Many Americans still hold wheat pennies from this era in old coffee cans, boxes, and forgotten envelopes. They have no idea that they could be sitting on a six-figure treasure. Imagine the feeling, hands slightly shaking, heart pounding, discovering that a coin you once counted by the handful could pay off your house, fund your retirement, or give you that lifestyle of comfort and abundance you've always envisioned. But here comes a pattern interrupt. What if I told you that the most valuable 1958 no-mint mark penny ever found was discovered by someone who didn't even consider themselves a collector? Someone who almost gave it away thinking it was just another coin? Yep, talk about a plot twist. And their life? Let's just say the only thing more impressive than their newfound wealth was the moment they realized that sense can make sense. As we transition into Act 3, the final and most urgent chapter, let's talk about the marketplace as it stands today. The demand for rare wheat pennies is stronger than ever. Collectors, investors, and high-net-worth individuals are pouring millions into rare U.S. coinage because these assets aren't just beautiful. They're stable, appreciated in value, and historically recession-resistant. The 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny, with its legendary error variety, has officially crossed into Holy Grail status. That is why the last confirmed sale soared into the $675,000 range, and experts believe the next one could climb even higher as rarity tightens. Here's the cliffhanger that keeps serious collectors wide awake at night. We don't know how many of these coins remain undiscovered in private homes across America. Could be dozens, could be a handful, could be just one. And that uncertainty fuels the urgency in the market today, so ask yourself, what would you do if your forgotten penny jar held a six-figure treasure? Would you sell it and transform your lifestyle? Would you invest it to secure your family's future? Would you savor the moment knowing that you uncovered one of the rarest modern treasures hidden in plain sight? Before you check your change jars, and trust me, you absolutely should, remember this. The people who profit most from opportunity are the ones who move before the crowd realizes what's happening. The 1958 wheat penny is not just a collector's item. It's a symbol of hidden wealth waiting for the right eyes to find it. Your financial breakthrough could be closer than you think. All it takes is one coin, one moment, one discovery to rewrite the story of your life. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of coins you've ignored for decades, and pulling out a penny, just one penny, that could change your entire financial future. A penny that looks ordinary, until you see that tiny letter beneath the date. A penny that collectors are hunting for with intensity. A penny whose current market value has soared to an astonishing $784,000. Yes, a single 1956 D wheat penny with a powerful mint mark error that has shaken the coin community and opened a new door for everyday Americans looking to transform forgotten change into real wealth. Welcome to a story that just might change the way you look at every penny in your home. Most people don't realize that the rarest high-value coins aren't locked behind museum glass. They're sitting in drawers, jars, and boxes across the country, often in the homes of people who never knew they had something extraordinary. And today, we're diving into the legendary 1956 D mint mark error penny, one of the most aggressively sought-after error coins in the US market. But before we reveal exactly why this little coin commands such a massive price tag, hold on. Because once you hear the truth, you're going to want to check every penny you own immediately. No pressure, but your future lifestyle might be hiding inside your kitchen cabinet. This journey unfolds in 3 transformative acts. First, we explore the mystery behind a penny minted almost 70 years ago. Then, we unravel the truth of the error that makes collectors willing to spend small fortunes to secure one. And finally, we confront the urgency of the current market, why demand has exploded, why fear of missing out is real, and why now, not later, is the moment to act if you want to join the people turning cents into 7-figure opportunities. Now let's step into Act 1, the origin story. The year is 1956, the final years of the wheat penny era. The Denver Mint is producing millions of coins for circulation, but something unusual happens on a tiny handful of these pennies. Something the mint never intended. A mint mark punch lands incorrectly, leaving behind a double D. A rare misalignment that would go unnoticed by nearly all Americans handling these coins at the time. People spent them, saved them, dropped them in vending machines, never realizing one mistake could one day rewrite someone's financial destiny. And if you've ever wondered whether powerful opportunities still exist in this country, opportunities available to everyday people, this coin is proof that they do. But as we step into Act 2, the story shifts. The excitement begins to intensify because collectors finally discover the error decades later, and suddenly the demand skyrockets. Experts start noticing inconsistencies in certain specimens. Doubled mint marks, extra impressions, small distortions that only appear under magnification. And here's a pattern interrupt for you. Imagine if the person who found the first one just shrugged and said, it's just a penny. That would be like finding a winning lottery ticket and using it as a bookmark. Thankfully, someone paid attention, and the value of this coin exploded across auction houses and private sales. But here's where the cliffhanger arrives. Because not all 1956 D pennies are valuable. Only the error coins with the doubled mint mark qualify. And the kicker? Most people still don't know how to identify one, which means millions of Americans might be holding a tiny fortune without ever realizing it. And yes, you might be one of them. In a moment, I'll tell you exactly why this error is so financially explosive and how to spot the signs yourself, but not yet. Because before you learn that, you need to understand the market forces currently shaping this coin's unprecedented rise. Act 3 is where inspiration meets urgency. Over the past few years, private collectors, auction houses, and high-net-worth buyers have reignited their pursuit of rare wheat pennies. They aren't buying these coins for fun. They're acquiring them as appreciating assets. Think of them as historical commodities. As demand rises, supply tightens. And when supply tightens, value doesn't just rise, it surges. That's exactly why today, right now, at this moment, the 1956 D Mint Mark era penny is sitting at a staggering market valuation of $784,000. People are competing fiercely for these coins, and the simple truth is this. The window of opportunity is wide open for those who check their collections, act decisively, and bring their rare pieces to market while demand is still accelerating. Now here's the exciting part, the part you've been waiting for. The double D on the mint mark is the key that transforms an ordinary 1956 D penny into a six-figure treasure. Under magnification, the doubling becomes clear, almost like a shadowed second punch slightly offset from the first. It's bold, it's distinct, and it's unmistakable. And yet thousands of families have never checked their old jars, their inherited collections, or the coins tucked away in forgotten envelopes. If that doesn't make your heart race just a little, it should, because someone is going to find the next fortune-level penny, and the only question is, will it be you? As we continue, ask yourself the simple but life-changing question. What would you do if one tiny copper coin in your home was worth nearly $800,000? Would you invest it, travel the world, pay off debt, build the lifestyle you've always imagined? This is where inspiration becomes reality. Wealth doesn't always begin with big investments. Sometimes it begins with awareness. Awareness of opportunities others overlook. And as this story reaches its final moments, let me leave you with one more cliffhanger. We're entering one of the most active rare coin markets in modern history. Prices are climbing. Collectors are competing. And the 1956 D-era penny is leading the charge. The only thing missing, the next big discovery. If you haven't checked your coins yet, do it today. Not tomorrow, today. Because opportunities like this don't just build wealth. They build the lifestyle you deserve. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, reaching into an old dresser drawer, and realizing that a tiny, forgotten coin you've owned for decades is worth more than most luxury homes in America. Sounds dramatic, right? But stay with me because in the next few minutes you're going to discover why a simple 1955 no mint mark wheat penny, yes, the same kind your grandparents used to toss into jars, can now explode in value all the way up to an incredible $942,000. This is not hype. This is happening right now in today's coin market, and you're about to learn exactly why. Before we dive in, let me ask you something unexpected. When was the last time a penny changed your life? And no, finding one for good luck in a parking lot does not count, unless it happens to be this mysterious 1955 beauty. Because this coin isn't just luck. It's opportunity, it's timing, and it's the kind of wealth shift that only shows up once in a generation. And if you own one, or even something close, you might be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. Act 1 begins with a story that could easily be yours. Picture 1955 America. Booming economy, classic cars rolling off assembly lines, families moving into new homes, and the U.S. Mint producing wheat pennies, never imagining that one particular batch would become a legend. Somewhere along the line, a stunning minting anomaly slipped into circulation. An error so unique, so unmistakable, that collectors today will fight for it, bid for it, and pay life-changing amounts of money just to own it. That mistake, that tiny twist of fate, is exactly why this penny, this unassuming relic of 1955 Philadelphia, now commands a jaw-dropping value of $942,000 in the highest grade examples. And while it may sound unbelievable, the high-end coin market thrives on rarity, story, condition, and demand, and this coin checks every single box with authority. But don't get too comfortable yet, because Act 2 is where the tension builds. Here's the unsettling part. Most people who own old coins never take the time to check them. They assume it's just a penny, toss it aside, and move on, Thousands of people have thrown away pennies that could have paid off their mortgage, funded their retirement, or built the foundation of generational wealth. And if that thought doesn't make your stomach flip just a little, check your pulse. Imagine knowing you had a fortune in your home, but simply never knew where to look. That's the fear, the quiet fear of missing out on something monumental. Now, before your heart rate spikes, here comes a quick pattern interrupt. Just imagine this. You walk into a coin shop holding this penny, and the clerk's face instantly freezes like he just saw a UFO land on the counter. Sir, ma'am, you're not going to believe this. If that visual didn't get your attention back, then maybe the number $942,000 will. Because that is the current market reality. High-grade error wheat pennies from 1955 without the mint mark are now among the most aggressively pursued coins in the private buying world. Collectors aren't just interested, they're hungry. Dealers aren't just curious, they're competing. And auction houses? Let's just say they're practically rolling out red carpets for anyone lucky enough to walk in with one. As we transition deeper into the second act, think of this moment as the bridge between curiosity and action. You may be wondering what makes this specific penny so powerful. The simple scarcity. The kind of scarcity that turns a piece of copper into a six-figure masterpiece. This coin didn't just slip through the cracks. It survived decades of circulation, global shifts, economic changes, and the incredible odds of remaining in collectible condition. And here's the exciting part. If you have a collection passed down from parents or grandparents, or a jar of old wheat pennies tucked away in a closet, you may already be closer to this opportunity than you think. But hold that thought, because Act 3 is where everything connects and where your story begins. The truth is, rare coins like the 1955 no-mint wheat penny aren't just collectibles. They're assets. They're alternatives to traditional investing. They're vehicles for wealth, silent, humble, but unbelievably powerful. And with today's market showing some of the strongest demand in decades, people across the United States are digging through boxes, revisiting old collections, and uncovering treasures worth more than gold. Yes, more than gold, ounce for ounce. Now here comes the cliffhanger you didn't expect. If the 1955 no-mint penny can reach $942,000 today, what will it be worth 5 years from now? With demand rising, supply fixed, and collectors battling for rare errors, no one knows exactly, but the trajectory is pointing in only one direction. And that direction is upward. So this is your moment. Your reminder, your call to action. Check your coins. Revisit your family collections. Look carefully at every wheat penny from 1955. Your financial turning point might be sitting in a dusty jar, waiting for you to finally recognize it. Because success doesn't always arrive wrapped in a stock certificate or real estate contract. Sometimes, it hides in the smallest, simplest, humblest place of all, a penny. And if that penny happens to be the legendary 1955 no-mint wheat penny, well, let's just say your wealthy lifestyle may begin with a coin so small it can fit in the palm of your hand, but worth more than anything you ever imagined. There's a moment in life when something ordinary suddenly reveals itself as extraordinary. And for many people, that moment begins with a small, dusty jar of coins sitting forgotten in the back of a drawer. Today, we're diving into one of the greatest stories in American coin collecting history, one that could turn an everyday penny into a life-changing asset. So let me ask you something. What if I told you that a simple 1952 wheat penny, the same little copper coin you once spent on bubblegum, could now be worth up to $973,000 in today's thriving collectibles market? And yes, before you ask, no, you're not dreaming. This is real. But before you rush to your old coin box, stay with me. Because the truth behind this coin's value isn't random luck. It's a combination of rarity, minting errors, and a rising market desperate for historic pieces that only a handful of people even know exist. Think of this video as your roadmap to recognizing the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth a luxury home, a brand new car, or the early retirement you deserve. And just to keep you awake. Yes, you in the back who's thinking about pizza instead of pennies, don't worry. I promise this story gets even better. The year was 1952. America was recovering, rebuilding, and reinventing itself. The San Francisco Mint, known for smaller production runs and exceptional craftsmanship, was busy striking the wheat pennies that would soon become iconic symbols of the nation's strength and industry. But during this year, something unusual happened. A rare combination of die deterioration, misaligned strikes, and planchet inconsistencies quietly slipped out of the mint and into circulation. Most people who held the 1952's penny never knew. They passed it from hand to hand, bought groceries with it, saved it in jars, lost it in couch cushions. And yet, one of these coins, born with a subtle but powerful minting error, grew over the decades into one of the most sought-after treasures in the U.S. coin market. Collectors today aren't just interested. They are aggressively hunting these coins with a level of demand that grows every single year. Why? Because only a microscopic fraction remain in high-grade condition. And when I say high-grade, I mean pennies so immaculate they look like they were struck yesterday, not more than 70 years ago. In fact, one of these ultra-rare examples, graded and confirmed with specific minting anomalies, recently reached a market valuation of $973,000. That's right, just shy of $1 million, for a penny most people assume is worthless. And here's where the story tightens. The error isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's a die crack that runs like a lightning bolt across Lincoln's portrait. Sometimes it's a repunched mint mark, an S that appears doubled or tripled under magnification. Sometimes it's an off-center strike that leaves part of the rim stretched into a unique, collectible silhouette. And all of this creates an intoxicating combination of rarity and beauty. Now, you may be wondering, what if I have one? Hold on to that thought because Act 3 will show you exactly what to look for. But first, a quick pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly reconsidering every penny you've ever tossed into a vending machine, congratulations, you're officially becoming a coin enthusiast. This is where things get exciting. If you're still watching, you're probably beginning to realize something powerful. You might already have a valuable coin in your possession. Or you might have access to one through a family collection, an old piggy bank, a forgotten box in the garage, or an estate you recently inherited. And the 1952's wheat penny isn't the only potential treasure. It's simply one of the most astonishing examples of how a small piece of history can transform into an asset worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So imagine, for a moment, that you're holding a penny with a mint mark repunched just slightly off-center, or a die crack running through the motto, or a misaligned strike revealing the raw edge of the planchet. That single detail could elevate your coin into the highest tier of collectible demand. Today's buyers, wealthy investors, specialized collectors, and private auction houses are competing intensely for coins exactly like this. The market is not shrinking, it's expanding. Prices are rising, and the window of opportunity is becoming more valuable with every passing year. But here's the cliffhanger. There's one mistake people make that destroys their chances of uncovering a fortune. It happens all the time, and it happens fast. Many people sell too quickly without authentication. They hand over their coin for a fraction of its true worth. But not you. Not anymore. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth. You'll understand why these coins are skyrocketing in value. And you'll be equipped to look at your own collection with clarity and confidence. So here's your next step. Begin searching. Check your old jars, inherited boxes, and personal collections. Examine each 1952 penny for an S mint mark, and look closely, very closely, for signs of doubling, misalignment, or die cracks. Because if you find the right one, your life could change faster than you ever imagined. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old jar of forgotten coins, and realizing that the tiny copper penny you've ignored for decades is now worth over $834,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, one single penny. And right now, as you watch this video, collectors across the country are hunting for one of the most powerful, most desired, and most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies ever struck. The 1952 D mint mark wheat penny with a rare error that has set the coin market on fire. If you think rare treasures only exist in movies, stay with me, because today's story may change your financial destiny. There's something almost poetic about how wealth hides in plain sight. The 1952 D wheat penny is one of those coins that slipped quietly into circulation, never announcing itself, never screaming for attention. And yet, the moment collectors discovered its extraordinary minting error, the value skyrocketed beyond anyone's expectations. For years, people believed pennies from the 1950s were too modern to be worth big money. But then, like a secret rising to the surface. One example of this coin sold for a staggering $834,000. Suddenly, Americans who once tossed pennies into drawers, glove compartments, and dusty coffee cans began looking at their change very differently. And here's the truth most people don't want to admit. While the world slept, a small group of collectors quietly took over the rare coin market, leaving everyday owners completely unaware of the fortunes sitting right inside their homes. If that thought doesn't make your heart beat faster, it should. The magic of this coin lies in a rare minting error created at the Denver Mint in 1952. The exact details of the error have been debated. Some experts point to an overstruck die, others to a dramatic misalignment, but all agree on one thing. It transformed an ordinary copper penny into a high-demand, investment-grade collectible. Right now, professional graders consider this coin one of the most desirable wheat penny errors of mid-century America. Before we go deeper, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. Did you ever imagine a mistake at work could make something worth nearly $1 million? If that were true in every job, most of us would be billionaires by now. Back to the story. As collectors discovered the variation, competition grew fierce. Auctions became battlegrounds. Bidding wars erupted. The more attention it gained, the more the price rose, and the more people realized they might be sitting on one of the greatest overlooked assets in American history. And here's where things get interesting, because every time the market thinks it has hit the ceiling, another sale proves the demand is still rising. As of this year, the rare 1952D era penny has climbed to a verified market value of $834,000. That number alone is life-changing for anyone holding one. But here's the real urgency. Collectors are aggressively expanding their portfolios, and the competition is heating up faster than ever. The market isn't cooling, it's accelerating. And when high-demand coins like this surge, they rarely slow down. People across the US, some just like you, are discovering pennies worth more than luxury homes, sports cars, or full retirement plans. And while many hesitate, waiting for the right time, the people who take action now are the ones building a legacy of wealth. If there's one thing this coin teaches, it's that hesitation costs more than risk ever does. At this point, you might be wondering whether you could actually own one of these extraordinary coins. And here's your cliffhanger. Yes, you absolutely could. Millions of 1952D pennies were minted, and while the error versions are rare, they do exist in ordinary households, coin jars, family inheritances, old collections, and even random pocket change. Every year, new examples surface from the most unexpected places. So before you assume yours is ordinary, remember, extraordinary wealth doesn't always announce itself. Now imagine what your life could look like if one tiny copper coin brought you the financial freedom to upgrade your lifestyle, clear debt, travel, invest, and live with confidence. This isn't fantasy. It's happening to people right now, and you deserve to be one of them. This is your moment, your opportunity, your turning point. The 1952D wheat penny with its rare error is one of the hottest, most valuable coins in the United States right now, and examples are still being discovered. If you have old pennies, especially from the 1940s, 1950s, or 1960s, stop ignoring them. Go through them carefully. Treasure doesn't hide from you. It waits for you to finally see it. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old dresser drawer, and discovering that a single forgotten penny, yes, a plain old wheat penny with no mint mark from 1951, could be worth up to $874,000 in today's market. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet people across the US have been cashing in on rare error coins just like this, turning pocket change into life-changing wealth. If you're holding on to old coins thinking they're just memories or metal, think again, because the 1951 no mint mark wheat penny with certain error varieties is exploding in value, and one of these could be sitting in your home right now. Welcome to a journey where the smallest coin can hold the biggest fortune. And trust me, you'll want to watch until the end, because the final piece of this story may just change the way you look at every penny you've ever owned. To appreciate the power of this coin, let's step into the story of a man named Robert. An everyday collector, not a millionaire, not a dealer, just someone curious about the coins he inherited from his grandfather. One evening, sorting through a dusty cigar box, he found an unassuming 1951 wheat penny. No mint mark, dark tone, soft edges, nothing special at first glance. It looked like a coin you'd toss into a donation jar without hesitation. But something unusual caught his eye. A subtle doubling on the date. A tiny misalignment on the rim. Almost invisible, unless you knew what to look for. That tiny detail transformed an ordinary penny into a six-figure treasure. And here's where the story becomes truly powerful, because finds like this aren't fantasy. They're happening right now all across the country. One rare error penny sold for $874,000, stunning collectors and capturing the attention of anyone who once dismissed their old coins as worthless. Now, before we dive into what makes this coin so valuable, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Really looked? Not the "I'm late to work and need change for parking" kind of look. I mean the "this could change my life" kind of look. Because for tens of thousands of Americans holding old wheat pennies, the clock is ticking, and the value of rare coins like this is climbing faster than ever. Transitioning from the discovery to the deeper truth, we move into the heart of the story. Here's the exhilarating part. The 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny was minted in huge numbers, but only a tiny fraction contained the rare errors that push their value into the stratosphere. And that creates a perfect storm of demand, competition, and rapidly increasing market prices. Collectors are fiercely hunting for them. Auction houses are reporting record turnouts. And private buyers, many of them the wealthy elite, are actively offering top-tier prices to secure one before the market jumps again. The result? A coin once worth 1 cent is now valued at nearly $1 million. Let me break this down while keeping the excitement alive. The most valuable 1951 no-mint mark pennies possess dramatic and rare errors. Striking misalignments, bold doubling on the date or lettering, clipped planchets, or off-center strikes so distinct they look like the mint was having an off day. These flaws transform a simple copper coin into an irreplaceable artifact. And with collectors scrambling to own these pieces of U.S. history, the price continues to climb. But not all errors are instantly visible. Some are subtle, so subtle that even seasoned collectors miss them at first glance. Which brings us to a crucial cliffhanger, because in a moment, I'll reveal the most overlooked yet most valuable error on the 1951 penny. The one that has shocked appraisers and turned casual collectors into overnight success stories. But first, here's a quick pattern interrupt. Have you ever stared at a penny so long that you started questioning your eyesight? If you haven't, trust me, by the end of this video you will. The biggest mistake most people make is assuming that a penny's value is obvious. But the most valuable versions of the 1951 wheat penny hide their worth in microscopic details. Sometimes a tiny doubling or a misplaced die can mean the difference between 1 cent and $874,000. Imagine that. A speck-sized error with the power to upgrade your entire lifestyle. And now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. What does this coin look like? How can you identify one? And more importantly, why are collectors paying life-changing money for it right now? The rarest and most valuable 1951 no-mint mark error combinations include extreme off-center strikes paired with doubling on the date or lettering. This combination is incredibly scarce, and its scarcity is what pushes its value into the high six-figure range. When one of these surfaced at a major auction, bidding war erupted almost instantly. Phones lit up. The room fell silent except for the sound of auction paddles snapping upward. The final hammer price? $874,000. A number that turned a simple penny into a legend. And here's where the urgency kicks in. These coins are disappearing into private collections. Once they're gone, they may not return to the market for decades. So if you have old coins, if you inherited a family collection, or if you've been letting wheat pennies sit untouched in drawers, jars, or boxes, this is your moment. Because the market is hot, the demand is soaring, and your window of opportunity is wide open, but not forever. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with one final cliffhanger. In the world of rare coins, the 1951 penny is just the beginning. There are other pennies, equally unsuspecting, that can surpass even the $874,000 mark. And in my next video, I'll reveal one of the most shocking ones ever discovered. Until then, take this as your sign. Your old coins aren't clutter. They're potential. They're opportunity. They're the key to the wealthy lifestyle you've imagined. Waiting quietly in a pocket, a shelf, a drawer, or a safe. And if you're ready to uncover the fortune hidden in your collection, now is the perfect time to begin. Act I begins with a mystery, one that has quietly turned ordinary Americans into six-figure success stories without warning. So let me ask you something. What if the loose change hiding in an old drawer, a dusty jar in your garage, or the forgotten box passed down from a relative could be worth more than a luxury home? What if a single copper penny, specifically a 1941 wheat penny with no mint mark, could secretly command a jaw-dropping market value of up to $962,000 today? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me because by the time this video ends, you'll understand exactly why collectors are hunting this coin like treasure, how people are unknowingly holding life-changing wealth, and what you must do right now to avoid accidentally giving away a fortune. And don't worry, no need to check your pulse. That sudden excitement you're feeling is perfectly normal. But before we dive deeper, here's a quick reality check. Most people don't recognize rare pennies even when they're holding them. They spend them, they toss them, they sweep them under car seats. If your heart just skipped a beat, good. That's your built-in alarm telling you that you might be sitting on something extraordinary. And in this story, the hero isn't a billionaire investor or a celebrity collector. It could very easily be you as we transition into Act 2. Let's travel back to 1941, a year filled with tension, anticipation, and a nation preparing for monumental change. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of wheat pennies, but hidden inside those billions were tiny anomalies, errors, misstrikes, and unique variations that collectors today would fight tooth and nail to own. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny wasn't just any coin. It was a piece of American history minted at a time when precision was crucial, yet imperfections still slipped through. These imperfections, these flaws, these unexpected quirks, are exactly what makes collectors go wild today. It's funny, isn't it? A mistake back then becomes a miracle now, so why is this particular penny worth nearly $1 million today? Here's the twist you didn't see coming. Some of these coins were struck with dramatic errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and sharp anomalies in the lettering so rare that they transformed the coin from ordinary copper into a financial phenomenon. Imagine holding a penny and noticing the date looks doubled, or Lincoln's profile appears shifted. That's not damage. That's opportunity. Big opportunity. And here's where urgency comes in. Because the number of these rare 1941 era pennies left in collectors' hands is shrinking fast. High-end buyers are paying aggressively, auctions are breaking past records, and every year, the value continues to climb like a rocket. But don't blink now, because here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Many Americans have one of these coins without realizing it. They're sitting in jars, in inherited collections, even tucked away in old wallets. What if yours is one of them? What if the one penny you never thought about could be the one coin that changes everything for you and your family? As we move into Act 3, let's talk about why this moment matters. Right now, the coin market is hotter than ever. Wealth builders, investors, and private collectors are competing for rare wheat pennies with a hunger we haven't seen in decades. They know something that most people overlook. Rare coins don't just hold value, they multiply it. And the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny with the right error is among the most sought-after pieces in the entire market. The current top-end value is hovering around $962,000, and yes, buyers are actively placing bids at that level. That number isn't fantasy. It's today's reality. If you're watching this, you're already ahead of 99% of people who never take the time to learn what their old coins are truly worth. And just imagine one decision to check your collection, one moment to inspect those dates and edges, could unlock the wealthy lifestyle you've been working toward for years. Think big homes, early retirement, financial freedom, and the power to live life on your terms. Sounds dramatic? Sure. But so is finding a penny worth almost $1 million. And just before we wrap up, let me give you one more pattern interrupt, in case your attention wandered for even a second. If you've ever tossed a penny aside thinking, it's just a penny, you might want to apologize to it later, because that tiny copper disc might be worth more than your car, your savings account, and your last bonus combined. Funny how life works, isn't it? Now here's your final cliffhanger. In our next video, we're revealing the other wheat penny, even rarer, even more valuable, and almost always overlooked. One that could dwarf the $962,000 price tag of today's star coin. So make sure you don't miss that. Imagine discovering that one of the smallest objects in your home, a single forgotten penny, could be worth more than luxury cars, more than the average house, even more than some people earn in an entire lifetime. Yes, that tiny 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark, the one most people overlook, is now shocking collectors across the country with a market value climbing as high as $877,000. If you just felt a shiver of excitement or a fear of missing out, good. Because in the next few minutes you're about to see why this coin is turning ordinary Americans into sudden multimillionaires, and how you might already own one without knowing it. The story of the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny begins in the middle of one of the most defining years in American history. It was 1944, war, uncertainty, sacrifice. The U.S. Mint was pushing production to meet the needs of a nation in conflict. But amid that focus and urgency, something extraordinary happened. A tiny error slipped through the cracks. An error so rare, so unexpected, that collectors today are fighting for the chance to own it. And here's where the fear creeps in. Most people who once had this coin didn't realize what it was. They spent it. They dropped it. They lost it. Some even tossed it into jars without a second thought. Meanwhile, the ones who recognized it secured wealth most people only dream about. But what makes this penny worth nearly $900,000? What separates it from the billions of ordinary coins? And how do you know if one of these life-changing pieces of metal is already in your possession? I'll answer those questions, but first, let me interrupt your thoughts with a question that might surprise you. When was the last time you actually checked the date on a penny? If the answer is never, congratulations, you're exactly like 99% of the people who accidentally threw away a small fortune. Funny how we double-check our receipts at Walmart but never double-check the coins that could pay off our entire mortgage. Now let's lift the curtain on why the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny is exploding in value. Most 1944 pennies were made from copper, but the wartime production changes from 1943 left behind leftover steel planchets, thin metal blanks used for striking coins. A few of those steel planchets were accidentally fed into the machines in early 1944, leading to one of the most iconic and sought-after errors in U.S. numismatic history. And because no mint mark appears beneath the date, this single detail narrows its origin and multiplies its rarity. Collectors today aren't just looking for rare coins. They're hunting for symbols of American resilience, pieces of history, assets that grow. And this particular penny is skyrocketing in demand. Every serious collector, every auction house, every investor with a taste for unusual assets is watching this coin like hawks circling prey. When one appears on the market, it doesn't just get attention. It sets the room on fire. The most recent sale? An astonishing $877,000. That number isn't just impressive, it's transformative. It's the type of profit that turns old collections into generational wealth. But here's the part that pulls people to the edge of their seats. The true number of surviving 1944-era pennies is still unknown. Some experts believe hundreds exist. Others believe only a handful remain. And here's where excitement and urgency collide. You could be holding one right now without realizing it. Before we go deeper and I show you how to identify one, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. Imagine explaining to your spouse that you became a millionaire because of a coin you once found between the couch cushions. Suddenly, searching your pockets feels a lot more interesting, doesn't it? So how do you know if your 1944 penny is the one everyone's fighting over? It starts with the metal. The rare ones are steel and have a silver-gray color. They stand out like a shining miracle among ordinary copper pennies. They're magnetic. They weigh slightly different. And the no-mint mark under the date is key. If you find one that fits these traits, your world changes instantly. Now here's the cliffhanger, the moment that keeps collectors awake at night. Even pennies that appear ordinary can hide subtle errors. Some have die cracks. Some have doubling. Some have misstrikes so rare that even seasoned collectors fail to spot them. And many of these errors multiply the value several times over. This is why Americans today, especially people between 30 and 65 who want financial freedom and the chance to live the wealthy lifestyle, are searching through their old jars, old boxes, and family collections. Because every year, more people discover coins worth not hundreds, not thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. And as the market grows hotter, the prices grow higher. Buyers aren't waiting anymore. Demand is growing. Auctions are competitive. And those who own one of these rare coins hold an asset so powerful that its value doesn't just sit, it rises. The fear of missing out is real. But so is the opportunity. So let me leave you with this. The 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight, waiting for the person who finally decides to look. If you haven't checked your old coins yet, this is your moment. Because the next life-changing penny, the next $877,000 miracle, it might already be sitting in your home, waiting for you to discover it. This is your time, your opportunity, your open door, and your future wealth could be resting in the palm of your hand. Imagine finding a tiny piece of copper no bigger than your thumbnail, and realizing it could change your entire financial life. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking discoveries in American numismatics. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that, because of a rare error, can reach values soaring toward $853,000 in today's market. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than most luxury homes. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes this coin so powerful, why collectors are hunting it relentlessly, and why this might be the best time in history to cash in if you've got one tucked away. But before we break down the secrets, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your change jar? Your old coin box? That dusty collection you inherited but never sorted through? If you're like most people, probably never. And that right there might be the difference between another ordinary day and discovering a life-changing fortune. Let's begin. The year is 1946. America is fresh out of World War II. Factories are switching from war production back to everyday consumer goods. Millions of coins are being struck to fuel the booming post-war economy. Most pennies made that year were ordinary, just your standard Lincoln wheat cents. But hidden among them, a few rare pieces slipped through the presses with an extraordinary error. A minting oversight so unusual that, today, collectors consider it one of the holy grails of the wheat penny series. And here's the twist. These pennies carry no mint mark, creating a subtle mystery that sparks excitement, debates, and heated bidding wars every time one appears at auction. Now, if you're wondering why something so small can command so much money, keep watching. We're only getting warmed up. Let's step into the world of minting. A place where precision is everything, and a single microscopic mistake can create a coin worth a lifetime of income. During 1946, some planchets, those blank metal discs before striking, were mixed with leftover wartime materials or struck using improperly prepared dies. The result? A tiny number of pennies displaying irregularities so subtle that you'd almost dismiss them as normal wear, unless you knew what you were looking at. Collectors crave this error. They battle over it. They drive prices up relentlessly. Why? Because the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny error isn't just rare, it's fascinating. It's a reminder of America's industrial shift after the war, an artifact of human imperfection at a time of national rebuilding. And as more collectors enter the scene and more investors diversify into tangible assets, the demand is skyrocketing. We're not talking about a casual hobby anymore. We're talking serious money. Right now, top-grade examples of this coin have reached $853,000 in private sales and auction estimates, and that number continues to climb. Imagine holding a penny worth nearly as much as a Ferrari or a beach house. Makes you look at pocket change differently, doesn't it? Speaking of which, check your pockets. Go ahead. I'll wait. Just kidding. But seriously, don't be surprised if you feel a sudden urge to look through every coin you own after this as we move into the final act. You might be asking, could I really own one of these? And the answer is simple. If you have old wheat pennies, especially from the 1940s, your odds might be better than you think. Millions of Americans unknowingly hold coins with rare anomalies hiding in plain sight. Some are in jars, some in old cigar boxes, some in family collections stored away for decades. And every once in a while, one of these 1946 error pennies surfaces and instantly turns someone's ordinary day into a dream come true. But here's the part you can't ignore. The market is shifting fast. As more people learn about these rare coins, competition is tightening. Serious buyers are out there right now, aggressively looking for undervalued specimens. Prices are rising because the supply of these rare errors is disappearing as collectors lock them into private collections. What does that mean for you? Simple. If you have one, or even think you might, this might be the moment that defines your financial future. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Most people assume they know how to identify valuable coins, but more than half miss one tiny detail that makes the difference between a $5 penny and an $853,000 masterpiece. In our next video, I'm going to show you the exact test that top coin experts use to authenticate these rare wheat pennies, and the mistake that causes most people to unknowingly throw away small fortunes. So make sure you subscribe, because this journey is only getting started. You might be one coin away from rewriting your financial story and living the wealthy lifestyle you've always envisioned. Remember, extraordinary success often hides in ordinary places, sometimes even in the palm of your hand. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old forgotten jar of pennies, and discovering a coin so rare, so powerful, that it could completely rewrite your financial future. A coin born in 1951, carrying a secret mistake from the United States Mint itself, one that today commands a staggering market value approaching $783,000. Sounds unreal? It's not. Someone out there is holding this treasure. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes the 1951 wheat penny error one of the most valuable small coins ever produced, and why right now, more than ever before, collectors are racing to find one before the opportunity disappears forever. Before we dive into the value, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked your old penny collection? Or those jars sitting in your father's garage? Or maybe those dusty boxes tucked into the back of your closet? Because every year, Americans accidentally throw away or spend thousands of rare pennies without ever realizing the fortune they held. And the 1951 wheat penny error is one of the biggest missed jackpots of them all. Minted in Denver during a time of booming industry and rapid change, the 1951 penny wasn't supposed to stand out. It was just another coin pumping through the minting machines, until a rare production error transformed a few of them into ultra-valuable masterpieces. And here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't some tiny flaw only a microscope could detect. No, this is the type of error that, once you know what to look for, becomes as eye-catching as a flashing neon sign. A doubled strike, a misaligned die, a minting anomaly that the professionals now call a top-tier American rarity. And trust me, once collectors get a taste for something like this, demand goes through the roof. Now, imagine holding a coin that most people would have overlooked as just another penny. But the market doesn't overlook it. Oh no, the market fights for it. In auctions today, authenticated 1951 error pennies have surged to unbelievable heights, with the most pristine example selling for $783,000. And experts are predicting that as collectors grow more competitive, and as older generations begin liquidating their estates, these once ignored wheat pennies are going to explode even further in value. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A penny worth nearly $1 million? Seriously? Yes, seriously. And while some people hesitate, the smart ones know this is the kind of moment where you either step forward into opportunity or stand still and watch someone else cash in. And let's be honest. Have you ever met someone who became wealthy by waiting? Exactly. But stay with me, because in a moment, I'll reveal the specific details you need to identify whether your 1951 penny could be the next six-figure showstopper. And trust me, you don't want to miss this part. Before we uncover those details, let me reset the moment with a quick question. If you found out tomorrow that you were holding a $783,000 penny, what's the first thing you'd buy? A new home? Pay off debts? Start that business you've always dreamed about? Or maybe, just maybe, you'd take the most American victory lap, buying that car you said you'd get one day. Don't worry, I won't judge. I'd probably do the same. Now, here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. The secret behind the 1951 value lies in the mint error itself, which shows doubling on the date and mint mark, misstrike anomalies around the rim, and a very specific die rotation flaw. These aren't just microscopic quirks. They're bold, dramatic proof that the coin escaped the mint with a rare identity. And collectors go wild for unique identities. But here's the real urgency. Coins like this don't stay hidden forever. Every month, more collectors uncover one, get it authenticated, and add it to the official census. The more that surface, the more intense the market becomes. And the window to find one in circulation, or in your own forgotten stash, gets smaller and smaller. Time is the enemy here, and hesitation is the biggest cost. So here's your moment. If you're serious about turning your old pennies into life-changing money, this is your call to action. Check your collections. Look through old jars. Ask parents, grandparents, relatives. Because wealthy people aren't wealthy because they got lucky. They're wealthy because they acted when others hesitated. And as you do, remember this: a single coin, just one, could be the spark that starts your journey toward the lifestyle you've always imagined. And the 1951 wheat penny error? That's the spark collectors dream about. Stay curious, stay determined, and keep searching, because the next $783,000 penny might be sitting right in front of you.